my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Oh, well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows with the whiskey.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first Longbangers edition of Shortbangers, our quick fire on the topic podcast. So we've got 20 minutes to talk about as many Hibs things as you can fire at us. First of all, we'll do the introductions. We've got Brian on tonight. Brian, how you doing?
Fine, mate. You?
Aye, bro. I had one of these embarrassing moments in Tesco just before we came on. I can't know if it's ever happened to you where you text the wrong person. You've maybe got a couple of conversations on the go and you text the wrong person. So we had to buy towels. So my teenage son at the moment has about 2 or 3 showers a day. He's right in his exercising. So we go through towels at a rate of knots and we had none today. So Jane said, go and pick up some towels when you're in Tesco. So at the towel bit, I had been texting my mate and I went to text Jane to say, towels are £15 each, but they've got 4 for 28. Well, I just get them. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Of course, sends that to my mate. You can imagine the reaction for that. So he says, fuck it, just get 50. So, aye. So that was embarrassing. So, didn't do that. That's my advice. Check who you're sending texts to. Anyway, right. Welcome, Brian. We've also got John. How are you doing, John?
I think we need to just do away with the introductions and just get straight into it. I'm all right, but let's get straight into it.
Yeah, fair to say that we're on the clock. We've also got Craig on, and I'm going to ignore that recommendation and still introduce Craig. Otherwise, it's awkward, isn't it? Hi, Craig.
Get it up, you John. I'm not too bad, mate. So, I don't know if it's just the camera that, like, for people that haven't listened or have listened to us before, we've never actually met one another. We've only seen each other on Skype.
John and I have met because we found out after three episodes or something that we worked in the same building. Just pure chance.
Enemy of your shit, and we'll never actually meet up with each other.
Aye, but we have never met. And Brian, I think we passed each other in Sainsbury's near Easter Road, didn't we?
I saw you from behind.
Aye, but of course that didn't care what you looked like at that point. So, aye.
But I mean, the point I was just trying to get to was I'm just looking at yourself there, Matty, and you're talking about like buying the tills and that. You seem to have like, compared to myself anyway, I've got this big, massive square head. You seem to have like not very much of a chin. I was just wondering, how do you fold
the towels?
How do you fold towels?
Aye. I'm married, mate.
Does she listen to this?
Sitting right there.
I just expected an axe to come through the door behind you for a second.
That's it. I'll get a kicking in a minute. Totally deserved. Right, so the idea was that we were going to get topics given to us and then discuss them. So the first one that we've got is from Hibs Alan, who tweets and listens to the show. He says, best Hibs goal Easter Road since returning to the top league, the league that Hearts aren't in. Who wants to give us best goal that we've seen at Easter Road since we came back up?
Craig.
Stevie Milne against Hearts.
Aye, it was a belter. That wasn't the one I was going to go for, but anyway. See, because we lost that game, you forget about how good that goal was.
I'm right, but I'm in the famous 5. I'm right behind it, so I've seen it from a right good angle. I thought that was quite good.
I went for Longbangers against Inverness in the Cup.
Oh, that was a screamer,
Good build-up and everything, Good build-up. Nice wheelie off the Docherty and then fired it in the top corner. Cracking goal. John?
Fuck, I'm struggling to think. Go to Brian. I'm on the clock.
I'll go for Longbangers as well. I was in Shandwick's pub of all places, out my tits, leaning over a pool table when he scored that.
You said good memory.
It was Matthew turning the tables on me after Sainsbury's.
And I would have got away with it if it wasn't for those pesky kids. Right, John.
Jason Naismith. I forget who the opposition was, but Jason Naismith coming thundering down the right-hand side into the box, boom, top right-hand corner.
What's your favourite goal you've seen at Easter Road?
Favourite ever?
Aye.
Go to Brian.
Is a gat against Dundee? The Maisie job? Good goal. Craig?
No, I'm on the spot. Move on.
It's maybe not my favourite, but one that sticks in my mind was Colin Nish dancing past 3 Dundee United players, I think, and sticking into the far top corner.
Say Colin Nish.
Colin Nish.
Is he no offside?
He wasn't on his arse either.
No, I've got it. I remember Mikey Stewart against Aberdeen for the corner when he hit it first time, and then about 2 minutes late. Then about 2 minutes later, he walked off being sick because he was unwell, wasn't he?
He shinned that one in the way. I always thought that was overrated because he didn't get as clean a hit on it as he could have done. I'll go for Martin Boyle against Livingston. Volley. Just I think I've seen a ball volleyed that hard and on my puff. All right, next topic was Kunster. He said should we keep Hibs fan away from Easter Road? It's for the best.
Should definitely keep some of them away from Easter Road for good.
I think
no further comment.
I think Hibs should use what could be a wee trial episode in the from the 14th September, when they start letting reduced number of peoples in to start weeding out the moaning phase bastards.
We're not going to get 700 people in.
Get a personality test before you go in. Just get shown a series of images, and your first reaction dictates whether or not you get a ticket. Brian, how would you sort out the problem of getting fans in? Then, if we're limited, how would you pick who went in?
Cock size.
Yes, I'm in.
No, I meant large. On the large. Keep that midgie's elbow out of Easter Road.
All right, Jordan, the Hibs, he's tweeted us with a wee news story about the BBC having to apologise for Craig Levine because he said that Ray and Morton complained about Hearts doing their training, and it turns out they never. So are we going with it's a good laugh, or Craig Levine's full of shite, or all of the above?
I think they should have just apologised for Craig Levine.
I think so as well.
And left it at that.
Full stop. But how much coverage have Hearts had on Sportsound over the summer? I was thinking about this the other day. It's totally disproportionate to their standing in the game. I mean, it's like the Championship's not even started, and there's like St Johnstone playing Aberdeen tonight, and I could tell you before tonight when the last time St Johnstone were talked about on Sportsound. Aberdeen, obviously, they got into trouble because they had players going out in the bevy, but even then, that was only enough to knock Hearts off the Sportsound for an evening or two.
It's a fair point.
When the BBC editor-in-chief of sports or whatever is Tom English, who has basically spent the entire summer hanging out the back of Ian Budge, it's no surprise that they're getting the airwaves that they're getting.
Allegedly. Does it alleged it, right? Okay, right, moving on. Paul Stevenson, what about us getting Griffiths on loan for the season and a buy at the end of the season? It's a win-win for everyone. I mean, if Aberdeen don't have the money, then why can't we? Craig, would you take Griffiths back?
I would take him back, but I wouldn't take him back on a loan to buy at the end of the season for the same reasons of not taking Ross McCrory for Rangers. Yeah,
because you could have
yeah.
John, if we got Griffiths, who's dropping out, Nisbet or Deutsch?
I'm not going to answer that because I didn't want Griffiths back.
Decent answer. Controversial. I think Griffiths is better than anybody we've got in the team now. I would think we would be daft not to take them personally, but
Griffiths at his peak, I would agree. But Griffiths in his current state, I don't think, to quote Brian, there's no room for sentiment. So I'm not having him back. We're not here to rehabilitate anyone.
Decent shout. Ruthless.
I hope we take him back just to see John like 180 completely.
If that happens, I'm leaving Longbangers until he's gone again.
Bring him back.
Brian, what about you? Would you take Sparky back?
In a minute. And I would drop Organ. And I'd go with, let's just go 3 up front. I was thinking about last week, I would quite fancy the idea, and I think he's got enough in his locker. I would fancy Griffiths behind Doidge and Nisbet. And I think he could cause havoc there.
As a number 10?
Yep.
I tell you what, imagine how many goals we'd have in the team with Doidge, Nisbet and Griffiths there. No, that's a league one in front.
Can I ask, who do you have the bigger hard on for, Scott Allen or Lee Griffiths in that new proposed number 10 role that you're imagining?
I'd have 2 number 10s. Fuck it, let's go wild.
Let's riff up the rulebook. Mavericks.
Go for it.
All right, next one. This was on Facebook. Gordon Rennick. Name one opposition player that you thought was a prick, but you know what? They were actually quite decent and you liked them and you weren't expecting to. So he quotes Peter Grant as his example. He didn't like him. He didn't want to like him, but he couldn't not like him. So obviously Jim Goodwin would be my one. I always thought Jim Goodwin was a prick in the park, but see, when you hear him talking and everything, he always comes across all right.
Ian Black.
What? Piss off.
Yep.
I can't have it. Ian Black's not allowed, surely.
Did he get you a good deal?
I hated him until I met him and got to know him quite well. And I like him. There we go.
Fair enough. Yeah, you can have that answer then.
Football friend.
Football friend.
So childish.
I can't think. George Alberts. I met him in Helensburgh once, and he was a really nice guy. And I've always hated Rangers. So
fair to. So, John, did you give us one? No, you never, did you?
No, I'm bitter. So everyone I've ever hated, I still hate.
Let it go, John. This is a recurring theme at every podcast. Let it go.
Right, next couple come from Tom Fairney, familiar name to me. He provided the music for this show as well. Right, what's the strangest place you've seen a Hibs top?
It wasn't a Hibs top, but on my stag do in Berlin back in February 2016, we were standing outside the entrance to the forest that takes you to the Union Berlin's ground, and there was a boy walked past with a Hibs beanie on. And there's I think there was maybe 7 of us, 6 of us were Hibbies, and 1 of us, or 8 of us, I think in total, 6 of us were Hibbies, 2 of them were Celtic fans. And this boy just randomly walked past with a Hibs beanie on, so he became a pal for the rest of the night.
He didn't show it off a lamppost, did
he? Through broken English, he was telling us that his laddie was over here studying at Edinburgh Uni or something, and he'd sent him at home, so he was pretty much a adopted Hibbie.
We stayed in Praia de Luz, which is where just after. It wasn't us. But while it was there was a group of guys who all had Hibs tops, polo shirts. They must have been staying nearby as well. So that's probably the strangest place I've seen one, particularly in the circumstances as well, because there were still news crews and stuff like that kicking about trying to find out where she was. So that's my answer for it. There's a pub in Bremen, an Irish pub that in the toilet's got a big Hibs sticker on it above the door that somebody's put in over the years.
A bar in South Africa. Seen it on the wall. In fact, it was weird. It was in Cape Town, and quite there's a waterside. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a waterside shopping centre. It's really quite posh and that. And there's loads of bars and that down there. But one of them's full of Scottish football memorabilia. It's the one that's in the movie. I've never watched it. Invictus. Is it Invictus, the rugby one?
Aye, rugby. The kid.
Aye, whatever they film the scenes where they're all getting lashed up with their fucking boot-cut jeans and brown brogues and all that, and their gingham and all that. It's in that bar. Loads of Scottish memorabilia.
Aye, decent. Brian?
In a bakery in Morningside. It wasn't actually on the wall. It was just a guy in the bakery in Morningside wearing a hipster.
Decent. Tales of the unexpected, eh?
You just never know what you're going to get, do you? Life's just full of surprises.
There's a Hibs badge in the film Venom as well, isn't there? Like in one of the bars, famously. All right, what Hibs novel item do you think would really sell? Anyone?
Layman's dildos.
Oh shit! I was going to say sex toys, so that when Hibs didn't fuck you can go home and fuck yourself. Oh no!
with the earrings and everything.
With the wee plasters.
Just so you don't injure yourself.
Safety first.
Aye, the actual Soji socks.
Oh no, sorry, I was thinking about this. So you know the song Hibs Heroes, and it's got a line in it. I'll always be, or I've always been a Hibernian soldier. So what about wee buckets of the toy soldiers, just called Hibernian soldiers? Big bucket of Hibernian soldiers. Perfect for every child's Christmas.
Have they all got 4 arms?
Yes, they should. Yeah, absolutely should. Bring out the 2016 commemorative edition.
Brian, anything for you?
Rod Petrie moustaches.
One of the disguises. Right, I don't know if it's a serious one. Should Hibs sign an Oriental player to attract an audience in Asia?
Well, we've already got the young laddie. Is it Eric or Wyrick? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Galantes. But he's development squad. It will depend if he makes the step up. But if it's purely
he's for Ox gangs.
If it's purely for commercial capitalism reasons, then definitely. If we want to bring the money into it, exploit those Asian betting markets.
I'll probably move on to this because this is one of these ones that starts off innocently, and before you know it, you've said something and we're getting cancelled. So
I'm already trying to name a kiosk.
Aye, I know. I can see you thinking, Brian. I was like, quick, don't ask us this kind of thing again.
No.
As we've won more trophies than the Rangers over the last few years, or actually ever, I know they got a Petrofac, didn't they? So, should we be declaring ourselves the second biggest club in Scotland?
Oh, are we going off of amount of trophies won in that way?
Aye.
Because I think we currently sit 4th or 5th. 5th. So we wouldn't be second anyway. And I'm not going to mention the teams that are above us because
Aye, they would be doing that.
No.
Is it important what size of club we are? Obviously, Hearts have got this obsession with constantly referring themselves as the big team and try to prove they're relevant. Is it actually, does anybody give a shit? Really?
No. Only them. Only them. I just want us to be as...
If you're not the best.
That's it. That's what the phrase was in it. We might not be bigger, but we're definitely better.
And that's what I say to the missus every time we make love. Which is a lie as well.
Don't tell her.
Right, we'll go to Hibsnet as well. There's a wee thread about the Gary O'Connor documentary. Did anybody see that?
No.
Aye.
What did you think of it?
Thought it was decent, it's a shame, innit, really, just to kind of see somebody fall away, because he seems like I've never met him, I've never anything like that, but he seems like a really kind of decent guy. He's just made a few silly decisions and that, and I think there was something in the documentary where he had was it his uncle that passed away suddenly, and he was the one that used to take him at the football and all that all the time, and just think he was probably in the time where depression wasn't really picked up on or dealt with in the kind of correct manner like people are kind of striving to today. So I think he's been a bit hard done by, but it's good to see that he's on the upways coaching academy and that, and I wish him all the best.
You get what I play. I think the only thing I thought was too short. Could have done with being another hour longer and just exploring some of the stuff in a bit more depth. Another thing that they did sort of perversely was they showed all 5 Hearts goals to the cup final and then flashed up a big maroon screen with the score. It was the director, I think it's the director, has been on the thread on Hibsnet to explain that, and he said he was trying to get across how much it would have hurt Gary O'Connor, but it just seemed a bit gratuitous. You sit watching it going, that's a fucking Hearts fan put this together. The guy's pleaded that he isn't, but I had my doubts at the time. I'll take him at his word. That was probably the worst part about it. I think I'd ever seen the goals since actually being at the game either.
I left after I think 3-1, and I've never seen the game back. Never seen the goals, but I've never watched Hibs 3, the Rangers 2 back either. So once it's gone, it's done. Fuck it, you go home and that's it. On to the next one.
Aye, and the other thing that we missed, because we did episode 62 the other day, so the last thing to touch on, because we're almost out of time, is 6-2. Memories of 6-2, John. We've got 20 seconds left on the clock, so you need to be quick.
I wasn't at the game. I was at home because my leg was in plaster, having dislocated my knee. So through surgery and jumping up and down, I managed to give myself a hernia in my thigh that had to be corrected afterwards as well.
Super.
And I was in the house with my stepdad, who is a Hearts bastard, and is no longer with us. He's not dead. He's just not married to my mum anymore.
You could have just said you went, John.
I watched it with a flat full of jambos as well. It was magnificent. I had a ticket for the game and ended up no going. It'd been uptown all afternoon. Come back quite half cut. I had my flatmate and his family were on, and they said, "Oh, just watching the telly with us." I thought, fair enough. And obviously they scored first, and all of them are up giving it big licks in my face and everything. And then of course we go in front at half time. And I never left the couch, for the goals going in up until Colin Cameron scored right at the end. And I jumped up, I went, yeah! Like that. Then I was sitting absolutely greeted. That's my memories. Craig?
No, I was too young, can't remember.
Prick.
You would have been about, 9 or 11? I can't remember when you were born.
You've been in bed.
91.
You were born.
The
game was 2000. Was it 2002?
Nah,
Or 2000? Aye, so you're 9.
I was 9. I can't honestly. I can't remember what I had for dinner 2 hours ago. Never mind. You know what I mean? I'm terrible for that.
Batter off of John's dog's testicles.
We've been talking about that before we came on here. That's not just came out of nowhere, by the way.
I had to give it some context and make it sound like I'm no a weirdo.
We were all talking about it. Not just me.
You three were talking about my dog's paws.
It was your fault you didn't ken your camera was on, John. Brian, what have you any memories before we wrap up?
I wasn't going to go. It was offered a ticket, believe it or not, by my neighbour across the road who was a Jambo. I think it was a 6:05 kickoff, and at 10:06 I thought, fuck it, I'm going to go. So I took the ticket, raced to Easter Road, and I had a wonderful 90 minutes.
What an evening it was.
Oh,
that was one of the best goals ever. Lappy's goal for number 6 is one of my favourite ever goals. Probably was my favourite up until David Gray's. But
yep.
There you go. Too old to have a favourite goal. Like how you sit a 42-year-old and I've got a favourite goal.
I still think I'm going to make it as a footballer and I'm 38. So we can all dream, Matthew.
We can all dream. All right, well, that's us. We're wrapped up. 20 minutes have been and gone. Thanks very much for your time this evening, gentlemen. Thanks everybody who listened to our first Small Bangers episode. Shortbangers. Not small. I can't even. That's how new it is.
I quite like small bangers now that you mentioned it.
Talking about knobs earlier on. That's it. Small bangers. Short bangers. Same thing. Right.
We're still not getting into Easter Road then.
We'll be watching on TV for a while yet. Right, well, hopefully we'll be back next week for another one then. Until then, we'll see you later and enjoy the game on Sunday night. Cheers.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no,